Hey everyone, I thought I would hop on here real quickly to answer a question that I've been getting that has to do with the English curriculum that I have used over the last couple years, and more specifically why I am using BJU Press English for some of my kids and IEW, their structure and style for a student's writing course, and Fix It Grammar from IEW for some of my other kids. And people are wondering, if you love one, why don't you just use it for everybody? So that is what I'm going to talk about in this video. If you have followed me for any length of time here on YouTube or over on my blog, you know that I love BJU Press curriculum, especially when it comes to their video courses, because with somebody who is homeschooling multiple kids, I have health issues that often keep me in bed or just not able to do as much on a daily basis. And so having the online instruction for my kids from BJU Press is a lifesaver. Also, BJU Press comes from a biblical worldview, and so I know that they're going to get that biblical worldview, Christ-centered education across every subject. And BJU Press has the Homeschool Hub, and so everything is scheduled out. I can access it, I can switch things up. Their tests and quizzes are taken online and graded automatically for the older kids, and so it just makes things so easy for me. And so I love BJU Press. But you also know that I love IEW, their writing curriculum specifically, and their Fix It Grammar curriculum. And I have done reviews on all of these curriculums on my blog or here on YouTube. But why am I not just sticking with the same one for all of my kids? So really it comes down to two things. First of all, when I'm choosing curriculum for my kids each year, I'm really thinking about what does this child need? And then what can I implement? And so in terms of what do they need, what focus do they need to have this year in any given subject? So we're talking about English. So I'm thinking, does this child need still more work in just phonics and learning to read before we tackle writing and grammar? I'm thinking through, do they need more work in grammar? Because last year we really focused on writing. Do we really need to emphasize literature this year in our English, the time that we're doing English, and maybe lesson writing and grammar? So there's a lot of different components to think about when it comes to choosing curriculum, when I choose curriculum for my kids. And so I'm really looking at what do they need in this particular year to focus on, and then what curriculum is going to help them accomplish those goals. And then finally, along with that, is what can I actually implement as a homeschool mom? Sometimes there's curriculum that I know my kids would love and that it would really work great for them right where they're at, but I can't implement it. And if I can't implement it, well then all it does is sit on the shelf and collect dust, and we never get to that subject, or we rarely get to that subject, which then isn't beneficial for my kids. Or I stress myself out trying to implement a curriculum that is too hard for me to implement. And so I get stressed out, I get burnt out, I want to give up on homeschooling, or because we're so focused on trying to get that curriculum in, our other subjects suffer. And so there's a lot that goes into me when I'm thinking about what curriculum I'm going to use for each student each year in each subject. And that certainly is the case with writing. And so that really plays into why I might choose BJU Press English curriculum over IEW, or IEW writing and grammar over BJU Press. It really a lot of times comes down to what is best for that individual child and what can I implement that particular year. But the second thing that comes into play here, and you might have noticed this if you've watched my curriculum choice videos and seen them on my blog over the years, is that I have primarily used BJU Press English in the early elementary years and then transitioned my kids over to IEW, Structure and Style for Students, and Fix-It Grammar. Now you're wondering, why? Why not just start with IEW? Why not start with their Structure and Style for Students and their Fix-It Grammar? And here's why. So IEW, their Fix-It Grammar, there is, if I'm remembering this correctly, there's 6 levels. I think there's 6 levels, but that's 6 levels over the course of, I mean, your students and you're homeschooling them 13 years, right? Kindergarten through 12th grade. I mean, you're homeschooling them when they're little too, because you're teaching them how to walk and, you know, how to hold a spoon and all those. But formal education, kindergarten, 1st grade or so through 12th grade. But there's only 6 levels of Fix-It Grammar. And the Fix-It Grammar curriculum picks up the pace fairly quickly, to the point where if I started a younger student in Fix-It Grammar level 1 in an early elementary age, even if I took 2 years to work through that Fix-It Grammar level, if I continued with Fix-It Grammar, it might get at a point to a place where they are able, excuse me, they aren't able to keep up with the level of difficulty in that grammar curriculum. And so I have personally found that starting my kids in Fix-It Grammar anywhere between 3rd and 5th grade works well. And I started one in 3rd grade, and that was just a more advanced student, but 4th or 5th grade really seems to be the time that I start my kids in the Fix-It Grammar curriculum. That's a personal choice. You can go on to their website and kind of look through the different options and make a decision that's best for your family. Also, I almost forgot, if you go to janelleknudsen.com/IEW, which is my IEW page, you can get 3 weeks free of a Fix-It Grammar curriculum to try and see if it's a good fit for your family. So I encourage you to go over there. You get 3 weeks free. There's Fix-It Grammar that you can try. You can also try Structure and Style for Students, their writing curriculum, and there's some other IEW writing or courses over there as well that you can try for 2 or 3 weeks free. It's a great option because you get it for free, and if you don't like it, you've lost no money, right? It was free. And if you like it and it works for your family, then you can make that purchase with confidence. So that is available for you over on my IEW page on my website. All right, but back to Fix-It Grammar. So there's 6 levels and they do move pretty quickly. And so I have just found that starting in, 4th, 5th grade works the best for my kids and my family with the Fix-It Grammar curriculum. Now with Structure and Style for Students, their writing course, they have 2 years of writing and their, how do I say this? Their Structure and Style for Students is broken up into level A, level B, and level C. And then each level has traditionally had just 2 years. So level A would have been elementary, and there was 2 years worth. 2 different level, year 1 and year 2. And then same thing for level B, there was year 1 and year 2, and high school level C, year 1 and year 2. They have come out with a year 3 for their middle school level, which would be level B. So there is 3 years there now. And again, you can look at that and try those for free on my IEW page on my website. But so if I started IEW writing in early elementary, there's only 2 years worth of writing curriculum there. And so even if we took 2 years to work through each year, right? So level A, we did year 1 in 2 years, and then we did year 2 in 2 years. That's 4 years. There's still not enough writing curriculum to get us all the way through 4 years of high school, I guess is what I'm saying. So there's a lot of other IEW writing options that are parent-led, which are excellent, but I'm not able to implement those. So what I have found that works well for my family is that if I start the IEW writing later on, again, 4th or 5th grade, and we just start working through, level A, year 1 and 2, and level B, year 1 and 2, and level C, year 1 and 2. That's going to carry us through the high school years. And then they also have a speech course. They have a couple other high school level video courses that we can implement and that we have if we get through both years of level C, which is their high school level. Anyways, all that to say is their IEW isn't set up where it's like 1st grade curriculum, 2nd grade curriculum, 3rd grade curriculum, all the way up to 12th grade curriculum. There's a wide age range that could use each level of their curriculum, which is wonderful. But I've just found that starting it a little later works best for my kids in general. With BJU Press, their English curriculum is writing and grammar, and they go back and forth. So they teach some grammar, and then they have a writing assignment, and they teach them how to write things like a poem or a letter or a just how to write a paragraph and then 3 paragraphs. And it's a very simple, very gentle introduction to writing and to grammar. And I have found that using the BJU Press English video courses, my kids really enjoy and really do well in the BJU Press English curriculum. Like I said, it's a very gentle introduction to grammar and writing, and I feel like it just better prepares them to jump into IEW later. The reason that we don't stick with BJU Press all the way through is really because once BJU Press English, once you get into the high school level, and maybe somewhere in junior high too, I can't remember exactly where the cutoff is, but at some point, it just becomes so heavy on grammar, and the writing assignments kind of assume that you already are a good writer. Now they give you, they do give you help and tips for doing the writing assignment, but it really is assuming that you've already had a good writing foundation and that you're a good writer. And so I've just found for my kids, when we have used BJU Press English courses in the upper grades, upper middle school and high school, it worked well for my kids who, number 1, enjoyed grammar, and number 2, were really good writers. And they succeeded really well. But for my kids who I just felt like didn't need that advanced grammar instruction, it was kind of overkill in the grammar lessons. And then when it came to writing, my kids who maybe are not naturally gifted writers or were still struggling a little bit with writing, they were having a very difficult time implementing the writing, and I was having to come alongside and teach them, which is definitely, that's our jobs as homeschool moms. But again, as someone who is homeschooling multiple kids, who has health issues, it just made more sense for us to use the Structure and Style for Students writing course from IEW, because that's video based, but my kids didn't need any additional help from me. And same thing, the Fix It grammar, they're able to do that on their own. Even my kids who, English is like their worst subject, and that's the thing that they struggle in, they're still able to work through and make great progress and have good success with the IEW curriculum. So, for my family, it has just worked well that in those early elementary years, we use and we love the BJU Press English courses. Again, gentle introduction to grammar and writing. And with the video lessons, my kids just find them very engaging, and so they enjoy them. Actually, my son at the beginning of this year said, I asked what his favorite subject was. I think we're on our 4th or 5th week now of school, and for the first 3 weeks he's like, oh, English. English is my favorite. I just love the teacher that's teaching the lessons online, and I'm like, wow, okay, his favorite subject is English. Who would have thought? But he really enjoys those video lessons. And if you do the BJU Press English parent taught, again, it still is easy to implement. I just can only teach so many subjects to each child. And so English was one that I'm able to kind of hand off to the folks at BJU Press and let them do the instruction for my student. And even in the younger years, they're able to do that pretty independently. So BJU Press English in those early elementary years has worked well. And then at some point, 4th, 5th, 6th grade-ish, switching over to IEW with their structure and style for students and their fixed grammar. That's just been a good fit for our family. Of course, BJU Press English is a great option from all the way through elementary through high school. That is a great option. Same thing with Fix It Grammar and IEW writing curriculum. Those would be great too. You'd have great success with those if you use that and stuck with that from the start of your homeschool journey all the way to the end. I'm just more eclectic. I like to change things up. I like to use different things. And each year I'm really thinking about, with so many kids and health struggles, really thinking through, what can I teach? What subjects should I be teaching this year? Which ones do I need to hand off and have my kids work more independently, or have a video lesson and structure, or dual enrollment, or, there's all these little eggs, I guess, that I'm balancing and juggling. And so it's just worked well for us to do BJU Press and then switch over to IEW. So I hope that helps and answers that question and kind of explains my thought process on why we kind of go back and forth and have used, from BJU Press English to IEW. We have used IEW in younger years. We have used BJU Press English in the high school years for different kids. I have 7 children. I've graduated 3. This is my 22nd year homeschooling. We have done a lot of different things. But in this season, the last few years, it's been BJU Press, and then we switch over to IEW. So hopefully that answers your questions. If you have more questions about English, about IEW, about BJU Press, leave those down in the comments, and I do read those, and I do try to answer as many as I can. So I will see you again, hopefully, Lord willing, in another video, and I'll chat with you down in the comments.